Hello everybody, welcome back. Jordan here. Today is a very exciting day because we're going to be redoing these epic LEGO displays behind us here. These shelves are all going to have a brand new fresh look, and I think they're going to look better than they've ever looked before. Before we get started with today's video, here's a quick message from today's sponsor, NordVPN. If you've never used a VPN service before, here's the scoop. It allows you to protect your connection and privacy while using the internet. Not only does it provide additional encryption to make sure no one else can see what you're doing, but it also anonymizes your searches so big companies can't track you on the web. I don't know about you, but I don't want my computer downloading anything that could potentially harm it. And NordVPN filters out that malicious traffic and ensures that websites aren't loading harmful stuff in the background. Another really cool thing about NordVPN is it can be accessed around the world. And this will actually allow you to access regionally locked content. This is hugely helpful. It can actually be used to unlock additional content on your favorite streaming services. Ever since I started using NordVPN, I feel way safer online, especially considering the number of valuables that we now as human beings have stored on the web, such as passwords that protect some of your largest assets, such as banking information and much more. This service is fast, reliable, can be used on all devices, and is super easy to integrate. So we actually paired up with NordVPN today here in this video, and we have a special promotion for you. If you go to nordvpn.com/Bricksie, you're going to be able to access that promotion. Ultimately, it's risk-free because there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So now that we're all safe, let's get back to the LEGO. So no question about it, the displays here in the LEGO room already look pretty amazing. Like, wow, I love these massive shelves right over here that feature some of the biggest and best LEGO Star Wars sets ever produced, like the UCS Star Destroyer, the Super Star Destroyer, the Millennium Falcon, the Gunship, the Imperial Shuttle, the TIE Fighter, a whole bunch of minifigures, a couple Death Stars, and much, much more. However, I think they can look better here, and that's what we're going to strive to do today. Now, why are we going to do this? Well, we actually recently made some room over here on these narrow shelves. You can see there's a whole bunch of space that is now open for the taking. So we're going to reallocate sets throughout these shelves here to make them even better and to put some of our best sets in a more visible spot. The first thing that we have to do is actually go grab a couple more shelves. So we're going to be adding 2 or even 3 more of these deep shelves to these large display units here, because we actually have a way to make some more space. Shelves acquired. We also got an additional shelving unit here known as the Omar, which is going to help organize some of our backlog. So now we're ready to start reorganizing the shelves. It's going to be quite the process. Actually, I made a little change right over here in our desk area. I put those 2 desks right up against the wall, so we have a little working station over there. And I also added this little table right here, because obviously to reorganize these shelves, I'm going to have to be removing sets from the shelves, and not really too keen about putting them on the floor while we do that. Emptied our first shelf, which contained our Stormtrooper army. Currently have them stacked on top of each other there. Also our UCS TIE Fighter and our Imperial Shuttle. So I think we're going to put the Imperial Shuttle in a landed position. You can see how tall it is right now. Comes pretty much up to the word wall there. On the Mega Wall, it's pretty darn tall, especially when you compare it to the TIE Fighter. So I think if we put this in the landed position and take it off its UCS display stand, it's still going to look pretty good, and it's going to open up a bunch of vertical space on the shelves. Like, take a look at that height difference. And the nice thing about this set is it actually comes with a stand for either the landed position or the flying position. So I think that's pretty cool, and that's going to save us a bunch of room. With the wings raised, you can see I was able to raise the shelf quite a bit. There's the old brackets and the new ones. Now we've got to decide what we're going to put right here, and I think that it's going to be the Death Star 2, because the Death Star 2 sort of vibes with the Imperial Shuttle. After raising up this shelf to better accommodate the Death Star playset, I was measuring the heights of certain sets to see what's going to go best beside it, and we decided to put the Gunship beside it. We realized it's not from the same trilogy, but height-wise they match up perfectly, and that's what you have to do when you're trying to utilize the space the best. So far we have the gunship, the Death Star playset, the Death Star 2, and the Imperial Shuttle, and we're getting ready to move the UCS Millennium Falcon. For the purposes of making space, I decided to reduce the shelf clearance from the existing Millennium Falcon spot to the new one. However, we have raised it up a bunch so it's more at eye level, so you can still get in there and see it pretty good. And of course, that's right below these two beauties. So that looks pretty amazing. Now we have to try and find a home for Cloud City. And also we want to make a Marvel shelf, because you know what? There's a lot of great Marvel sets, such as the Infinity Gauntlet, down here, the Helicarrier, also the Guardians of the Galaxy ship right there, and the brand new Thor's Hammer, which has yet to have a display spot. It's right there on the Billy shelves. So this might be a little bit tight for Cloud City right underneath the Millennium Falcon, but I think it looks pretty awesome. Got to keep as much space as possible, keep these shelves a little bit tighter than they should be, just because we know there's going to be a lot more cool stuff coming out. And of course, we've got to leave room for more cool stuff, just like this shelf right here. All of my TIE fighters on one shelf. Originally, I envisioned this being a little bit more tiered, maybe a little bit more spaced out, but I don't want to give them more than one shelf. This is pretty much all of my TIE fighters. However, I do have some duplicates that I decided to remove from the display. And of course, these used to be up top here, beside the Sandcrawler. So now we have all of that space on top of the Billy cabinets right there. But I think that looks pretty good, hey? I don't know. There's just so much awesome stuff on one shelf. Plus, we brought down Darth Vader's TIE Fighter Advance, and that was one of my requirements of this big shelving change. I wish I was on a slight angle, but had to maximize the shelf space for all these TIE Fighters. Some more progress has been made on the larger shelves. Right down here, we added a Marvel section. Yes, love that. Avengers Helicarrier, also the Guardians of the Galaxy ship, Thor's Hammer raised up by one panel, and then we have the Infinity Gauntlet raised up by 2 panels. Just tiers it a little bit there. Colosseum, right beside Benny's spaceship. Oh yes, 2 of the best pairing sets ever, wouldn't you agree? Over here we've got Mos Eisley beside Rad 5. A little bit of open space beside Betrayal at Cloud City right here on this shelf below the Millennium Falcon, the Imperial Shuttle, and the Death Star 2. Death Star playset. Then our TIE Fighter shelf that's crammed, packed full of TIE Fighters. I didn't change the space shelf. I like it. I don't know. I just want to have all my space stuff together other than the ISS that's still up top. Something that used to be up top and now is down here is the grand piano. There's actually space to open it up. I wanted to have a look at that set. Doesn't really pair up nicely with the Ewok Village, but oh well, that's where it is for now. We're going to transition into these shelves now. Got a bunch of stuff we want to bring down and just sort of shuffle these displays around, because you can see there's a lot of open space on the top of our shelves now. So we got to try and fill that up with the available sets and just reorganize some of this Star Wars stuff. We're pretty much done all the changes that we can make today. You want to hear something funny? Oh my gosh. The 3 shelves that I went and bought, we didn't use a single one of them, and I opened 2 of them. How funny is that? Also, we freed up 2 Billy shelves, but those always come handy for future shelving changes, right? And haven't built this yet, but eventually we're going to build it. We're going to put it in this room here, and it's going to be great for storage. Let's check out some of the changes. Okay, one of my favorite displays in the LEGO room were the helmets right up there on the bulkhead, but you can see they're no longer there. We actually had more space than we originally anticipated, so I moved them. It's like, you know what? Let's get those right there on top of the pack shelves. Usually I use the pack shelves for bigger, deeper sets, but they just look good right there. And I'm regretting not buying the 3 new helmets that came out on March 1st. Oh well, you can see our displays are a lot cleaner. There's just no minifigures, there's no accessories and stuff around the Super Star Destroyer, so it looks a lot cleaner. Now, what are we going to do? Don't mind my mess here, but what are we going to do with all of these minifigures that didn't end up back on the shelves? Well, these all belong with sets, so we're going to reallocate all of those back to the sets where they belong, just because obviously that makes more sense than having armies everywhere. But yeah, this hasn't changed. We've got some stuff that looks pretty awesome. Brought some planes and some 501st accessories and stuff down there. And then up top here, we shuffled over the buildable characters and moved them over here, the buildable figures, I should say. Then we put the large plane up there, the ISS, some of the brick sketches, and then you can see we moved Stranger Things and also Arkham Asylum and Mickey and Minnie over here. Made some pretty decent changes here. Shuffled some things around. We got more space for micro fighters right here. We gave this set right here, the Y-Wing UCS set, more breathing room so you can actually see it way better now. Move some stuff around, including the Sandcrawler UCS set is here now, along with all the minifigures. However, I'm missing C-3PO. I'll have to find that one. Then we moved the pod racers over here. We grouped together our Slave Ones, so they're all together now, so that looks pretty fancy. Oh, and then our armies are over here now, so we've got our Stormtroopers, Clone Troopers, Snow Troopers, 501st, all that stuff right here. So our armies are looking pretty fresh, all together on the half Billy bookcase, which we use as a corner right here with all of our buildable characters, including the probe droid, which we recently just moved over there as well. Over here in the vehicle department, we opened up a bunch of space on top, so we spread those vehicles out. We added Pikachu and also the Adidas Superstar over here on top of this cabinet. And overall, just everything is a little bit more spaced out now. We used all that available space to, I don't know, just make it less cluttered and just a better overall display with more visibility, I feel. I really like the TIE Fighters. I felt like that. I feel like that looks a lot better than having them spread out along the top. And I just feel like this is overall an improvement just because it's a lot cleaner, tidier, and something new, something fresh. And I'm sure as more stuff comes into stock or as we acquire more stuff here for the collection, this will change again. But just wanted to take you on the journey here as we essentially made a brand new PAX display with all of our LEGO Star Wars UCS stuff. And then better displayed some of the other sets here on the shelves as well. So yeah, let us know what you think by commenting below. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. Thank you so much for popping on by. Farewell.